January 25th, 1991. A nerdy kid from Chicago straps on his suspenders, adjusts his glasses, and rocket packs his way into television history.
Down on Step by Step, on television first.
Steve Urkel wasn't just visiting San Francisco that night. He was doing something that wouldn't become cool for another 2 decades. He was building a shared cinematic universe. Here's the thing about TGIF that nobody really talks about. While we were all sitting cross-legged on our living room floors, eating pizza, and watching our favorite Friday night sitcoms, ABC was quietly connecting at least 8 different shows into a single fictional world. Full House, Family Matters, Step by Step, Boy Meets World, Hangin with Mr. Cooper, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. They all exist in the same universe. And Steve Urkel, he's basically the Nick Fury of the whole operation.
But he didn't trust him very much.
Showing up in other people's stories, confirming that all these worlds are actually one world. Today we're mapping every crossover episode, every actor who played different characters, across multiple shows, every Easter egg and hidden connection that tied TGIF together years before Marvel made shared universes mainstream. This is the unofficial TGIF shared universe. And trust me, it goes deeper than you remember. If you're ready to take a trip back to Friday nights in the 90s, hit that subscribe button. Let's do this. The foundation, where it all began.
Kyle, how's it going?
Oh, great. We're this close to busting a big politician.
Before we can talk about crossovers, we need to talk about the show that started it all. And no, it's not Full House. The TGIF shared universe actually begins with Perfect Strangers. You remember Perfect Strangers, right? Balky Bartokomous from the fictional island of Mypos moves in with his uptight cousin, Larry Appleton, in Chicago. The show ran for 8 seasons, and somewhere in season 3, they introduced a character who would change everything. Her name was Harriet Winslow, played by Jo Marie Payton. She worked as the elevator operator at the Chicago Chronicle, the newspaper where Larry worked. Just a recurring character. No big deal. Then, in season 4, they introduced her husband, Carl, a Chicago cop played by Reginald VelJohnson, who you might recognize as the dad from Die Hard. ABC saw something in the Winslows, so they gave them their own show. Family Matters premiered on September 22nd, 1989, and here's the part that makes this so significant. That was the exact same night TGIF officially launched as a branded programming block. So from day one, TGIF had a shared universe baked into its DNA. Perfect Strangers and Family Matters were connected by blood, or at least by spinoff. The Winslows existed in Balky's world before they existed in their own show. That's the trunk of the family tree, and every crossover that came after branches from this connection. Now here's an interesting piece of trivia. Despite being parent and child shows, Perfect Strangers and Family Matters never actually had a formal crossover episode after the spinoff. Balky and Larry never visited the Winslows on their own series. The connection was established, but never revisited. Like ABC planted the seeds, and then just let them grow wild. The crossovers. A complete timeline. Alright, let's get into the good stuff. Every confirmed TGIF crossover in the order they happened. Crossover number 1. Urkel meets the Tanners.
How annoying could one kid be?
January 25th, 1991. Full House, Season 4, Episode 16. Stephanie gets framed. Here's the setup. Family Matters got bumped from the TGIF lineup that week because ABC was airing a New Kids on the Block special. Rather than let their biggest breakout character disappear for a Friday, producers did something clever. They sent Urkel to San Francisco. In the episode, DJ Tanner's friend Julie brings her cousin to visit. That cousin? Steve Urkel, in town from Chicago for a science fair. The main plot centers on Stephanie Tanner, who just got prescribed glasses and is terrified of being bullied. Urkel, being Urkel, bonds with her immediately. He shares his own experience as a glasses-wearing outcast and gives her advice about making bullies laugh with you instead of at you. There's this great moment where Uncle Jesse tries to teach Urkel how to walk cool. It fails spectacularly. Urkel also gives toddler Michelle a penny and tells her that with prevailing interest rates, it'll be worth 3 cents by the turn of the century. Classic Urkel. This crossover matters because it was the first time 2 independent TGIF series shared a character. Urkel's presence canonically linked Full House to Family Matters, which was already linked to Perfect Strangers. With 1 episode, 3 shows became part of the same fictional world. Crossover number 2, The Rocket Pack Incident. September 27th, 1991. This is the one everyone remembers. It actually spans 2 shows on the same night. Family Matters Season 3, Episode 2, Brain Over Brawn, and Step by Step Season 1, Episode 2, The Dance. Both directed by the same guy, Richard Carell. In the Family Matters episode, Urkel builds a rocket pack for a rope climbing contest. Because of course he does. The rocket launches him through the Winslow family's roof and sends him rocketing into the sky. The episode ends on a cliffhanger. Urkel just disappears. Then, minutes later on Step by Step, which was only its 2nd episode ever, Urkel crash lands in the Lambert Foster family's backyard during a barbecue. Turns out he traveled 117 miles, from Chicago to Port Washington, Wisconsin. He's there because he's the science fair pen pal of young Mark Foster. The main plot follows Al Lambert, who got dumped right before a school dance. Urkel cheers her up, takes her to the dance, and you knew this was coming, does the Urkel dance. There's also a great subplot where Dana gets tricked by JT with tickets to the Wisconsin Cat Show instead of the Broadway musical Cats. This crossover is significant for 2 reasons. First, it formed one continuous narrative across 2 different series, airing back to back. Second, ABC deployed their biggest weapon, Urkel, to establish a brand new show in only its 2nd episode. They weren't messing around. Crossover number 3. Michelle goes to Oakland.
Hi, come on in. Oh, of course. Put up your zipper, buddy.
Fall of 1992. Hangin with Mr. Cooper, Season 1, Episode 2. Hangin with Michelle. Mark Cooper, played by Mark Curry, is a former NBA player who's now working as a substitute teacher. He gets assigned to Michelle Tanner's 1st grade class. While acting out a story as a kangaroo per Michelle's suggestion, he falls off his desk and injures his tailbone. Michelle feels terrible about it, so she visits Mark at his Oakland home with Uncle Jesse to help him recover. Naturally, she accidentally causes more chaos before Mark reassures her that she's not a jinx. The geographic logic here was perfect. Full House was set in San Francisco. Hangin with Mr. Cooper was set in Oakland. Those 2 cities are only about 12 miles apart. Both shows were connected through Jeff Franklin's involvement in their creation, and ABC clearly used this crossover to bootstrap the brand new series by importing the ultra-popular Olsen twins. Here's a fun Easter egg. One of the paramedics in that episode was played by John Posey. That name might not mean anything to you, but he played the original Danny Tanner in the unaired Full House pilot before Bob Saget took over the role. Crossover number 4, The Disney World Connection.
Oh, you're right, Topanga.
What's a Topanga?
May 1996. This one's a little tricky. Boy Meets World, Season 3, Episode 19, The Happiest Show on Earth. And Step by Step, Season 5, Episodes 24 and 25. We're Going to Disney World, Parts 1 and 2. In the Boy Meets World episode, Corey Matthews follows Topanga to Disney World. While he's there at the Living Seas Pavilion, he meets a girl named Dana. She's played by Stacy Keenan, the same actress who played Dana Foster on Step by Step. Meanwhile, the Step by Step two-parter had the Lambert Foster family vacationing at Disney World for Frank and Carol's anniversary. Here's the catch though. Dana's last name Foster was never actually spoken in the dialogue or listed in the credits. The Boy Meets World producers reportedly left it deliberately ambiguous, whether she was the same Dana or just some other Dana. Most TGIF universe analyses treat this as a canonical connection, but it was designed to be deniable. So file this one under probably canon, but they gave themselves an out. Crossover number 5. The Chain Letter. This one's subtle but important. In The Family Matters Season 8, episode Beauty and the Beast, Steve Urkel casually mentions sending a chain letter to his friend Corey Matthews in Philadelphia. Then in a later Boy Meets World episode, Corey confirms that he received a chain letter from his friend Steve. No on-screen crossover happened. Urkel and Corey never shared a scene together. But this dialogue canonically establishes that Family Matters and Boy Meets World exist in the same fictional world. It adds Philadelphia to the TGIF universe's geography, alongside Chicago, San Francisco, Oakland, and Port Washington, Wisconsin. Crossover number 6. Sabrina Meets Boy Meets World.
I'm sorry, Sabrina. My buddy just came off kind of a spooky relationship. He was dating a,
October 31st, 1997. Halloween night. Boy Meets World, Season 5, Episode 5. The Witches of Pembroke. The main plot has Jack Hunter falling for a girl named Millie, who turns out to be a witch. She's played by Candace Cameron Bure. DJ Tanner from Full House, but as a completely different character. Not DJ. Here's where it gets interesting. In the end, credits tag scene, Eric Matthews appears on a balcony with Melissa Joan Hart, in character as Sabrina Spellman from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. They flirt, they make plans to go get a bite to eat, and meanwhile, Sean has apparently been turned into a frog. Some fans consider this cameo non-canon, but it directly set up something much bigger that was coming the very next week. Crossover number 7. The TGIF Time Warp.
A cat show? I can't see you in a cat show.
Don't you think I'm pretty?
Of course.
November 7th, 1997. This is the most ambitious TGIF crossover event ever produced. On a single Friday night, all 4 shows in the TGIF lineup shared one continuous storyline. The connecting thread, Salem the Cat from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, voiced by Nick Bakay. The whole event carried the tagline, Time Goes Insane Friday. Part 1 was Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Inna Gata Sabrina. Sabrina brews a time ball for a magical test. Salem swallows it because apparently it smells like sardines, and this sends Sabrina's world back to the 1960s. She initially enjoys the peace-loving era, but then she realizes women have lost decades of progress. Salem escapes with the time ball in his stomach. Part 2 was Boy Meets World. No guts, no Corey. Salem arrives in Philadelphia, transporting Corey, Sean, Topanga, and the rest to 1940s wartime America. Corey proposes to Topanga before shipping off to war. He tells Sean that if he dies, Sean should marry Topanga. There's also a subplot where Eric gets denied military service because he's ticklish. They say it makes him a torture risk. Salem moves on. Part 3 was You Wish, Genie Without a Cause. Salem arrives in Hollywood, sending the cast into a Grease-inspired 1950s. Sabrina is hot on Salem's trail, but the cat evades her. Part 4 was Teen Angel, One Dog Night. Salem transports the cast to 1970s disco. Sabrina finally catches Salem and resolves the time chaos in a closing montage. Now here's the sad truth about this event. It was designed to get viewers to sample 2 struggling new shows, You Wish and Teen Angel, and it failed. You Wish was pulled from the schedule the very next week after just 7 episodes. Teen Angel got canceled shortly after too. What happened? Well, Family Matters and Step by Step had already left ABC for CBS that fall, and ABC was scrambling to fill the TGIF lineup. The new shows just couldn't capture the same magic. Ryder Strong, who played Sean on Boy Meets World, was actually publicly vocal about disliking his episode in the crossover event. The final connections. There are a couple more worth mentioning. Steve Urkel made a brief, blink and you'll miss it cameo in the step-by-step episode A Star is Born during its final season on CBS. He's just snapping a clapperboard on a movie set. Not a full crossover, but a fun callback. And in October 1997, Urkel appeared on Mego, a CBS show starring Bronson Pinchot, who you'll remember as Balky from Perfect Strangers. CBS had paid $40 million to acquire Family Matters and Step by Step from ABC, and they paired them with Mego. In the episode, Urkel makes a cameo, angrily retrieving a television set that Mego's character had stolen. Mego got canceled after just 6 episodes, but technically, this extends the shared universe to CBS's competing Friday night block. The actors who lived double lives.
If there's one thing I've learned hanging around here, it's that animals are like people.
Beyond the crossover episodes, there's another layer to this shared universe. Actors who appeared in multiple TGIF shows as completely different characters. This happened because of how tight the Miller-Boyett production ecosystem was. Let's start with Stacey Keenan. Before she was Dana Foster on Step by Step, she played Lindsay Bowen on a show called Going Places that ran from 1990 to 1991. It was also a Miller-Boyett production. When Going Places got canceled, she was immediately recast as Dana on Step by Step. She went from one Miller-Boyett show directly into another. Christopher Castile had a similar journey. He played Sam Roberts on Going Places as a recurring character, then got cast as Mark Foster on Step by Step as a series regular. The Step by Step wiki actually notes that he brought the same character traits to the new role. There's speculation that Miller-Boyett was trying to create something like a white Urkel. Bronson Pinchot, Balky himself, showed up again after Perfect Strangers ended. He played Jean-Luc Rioperu, a French hairdresser on Step by Step in Season 6. Completely different character, but same production company, same universe. Thelma Hopkins played Rachel Crawford on Family Matters for the first 4 seasons as a series regular, then came back for recurring appearances in Seasons 6 and 9. But in between, she left specifically to star in Getting By, another TGIF show where she played Dolores Dixon. 2 different characters, same actress, same Friday night lineup. Jurnee Smollett had one of the most interesting paths. She played Denise Fraser, Michelle's best friend on Full House. That same character appeared on Hangin with Mr. Cooper, a legitimate crossover role. But then she was cast as a completely different character, Geordie Jericho, on Our Own. Reportedly, Full House producers wanted to give Denise Fraser her own spinoff, but Jurnee's mother insisted that all 6 Smollett siblings appear together. That led to the ensemble show On Our Own instead. And here's one that might blow your mind. Danielle Fishel, Topanga from Boy Meets World, actually made a guest appearance on Full House before she landed the role that made her famous. She played one of 3 same-named popular girls in a Stephanie's class. A small part, but it connects her to the TGIF universe before Boy Meets World even existed. The Invisible Threads. There are connections between these shows that you couldn't see on screen, but you definitely heard them. Jesse Frederick. That name might not mean anything to you, but his voice is burned into the memory of everyone who grew up watching TGIF. Along with Bennett Salve, he composed and performed the theme songs for nearly every Miller-Boyett show. Everywhere You Look from Full House, that's him. As Days Go By from Family Matters, that's him. Second Time Around from Step by Step, also him. Plus the themes for Perfect Strangers, Going Places, Getting By, and On Our Own. Jesse Frederick personally sang 3 of the most iconic TGIF themes. There was an unmistakable sonic signature to these shows. If you grew up watching TGIF, you were hearing the same voice welcome you into each show's world every single week. Then, there were the directors. Joel Zwick directed episodes of Perfect Strangers, Full House, Family Matters, Step by Step, and Hangin with Mr. Cooper. He directed 32 episodes of Family Matters alone, and he's talked about how he moved between shows, carrying consistent comedic timing and tonal sensibility across the entire universe. Rich Carell directed 86 episodes of Family Matters, more than any other director on the show. John Tracy directed 47 episodes of Family Matters, plus multiple step-by-step episodes. These weren't just hired guns. They were the architects of a consistent comedic style that made all these shows feel like they belonged together. And let's talk geography for a second. The show's settings actually form a coherent American map. Perfect Strangers and Family Matters share Chicago. Step by Step is set in Port Washington, Wisconsin, 117 miles north, reachable by rocket pack. Full House and Hangin with Mr. Cooper share the San Francisco Bay Area. Boy Meets World is set in Philadelphia, connected via Urkel's chain letter. During the Time Warp event, Salem the cat threads through whatever shows are left. But here's a universe-breaking problem that some fans have identified. In the step-by-step episode, Great Expectations from 1994, John Stamos appeared as himself, not as Uncle Jesse, as John Stamos the celebrity, playing a blind date. If Full House and Step by Step truly share a universe, John Stamos the celebrity shouldn't exist. He should be Uncle Jesse Katsopoulos. Fans typically just hand-wave this away, but it's the most commonly cited paradox in the TGIF shared universe theory. Conclusion: a universe built by accident. Here's what makes the TGIF shared universe so fascinating. It was never supposed to be a shared universe. When Bob Boyett described the crossover strategy, he called it a promotional hook, a bridge to get from one show to the other and keep people watching. When the TGIF brand's creator Jim Janicek talked about what he was trying to build, he talked about recreating the feeling of families sitting down together on Sunday nights to watch Wild Kingdom and the Disney Sunday movie. The goal was appointment viewing, not world building. No one at Miller Boyett or ABC ever called it a shared universe. They called it good programming strategy. But that's what makes it so interesting for us looking back at it now. The crossovers were real. They were canonical. Perfect Strangers connects to Family Matters, which connects to Full House and Step by Step through Urkel, which connects to Hangin with Mr. Cooper, through the Tanners, which connects to Boy Meets World through the chain letter, which connects to Sabrina the Teenage Witch through Halloween and time-traveling cats. This wasn't Kevin Feige mapping out phases on a whiteboard. This was a production company and a network improvising their way into television history, one Friday night at a time. Steve Urkel is the thread that holds most of it together. He's the character who shows up in other people's stories, and just by being there, he confirms that all these worlds are connected. The chain letter to Corey Matthews, the rocket pack to Wisconsin, Michelle visiting Oakland, Salem the cat traveling through time in 4 consecutive shows. We didn't have a name for it back then. We just called it TGIF. But looking back now, through the lens of Marvel movies and streaming universe expansions, we can see it for what it really was. The original shared sitcom universe, built by accident, held together by crossovers and theme songs, and the unmistakable feeling that Friday night was something special. For the record, some shows never got connected. Dinosaurs, which to be fair was set 60 million years ago with puppet dinosaurs, never crossed over. Two of a Kind and Sister Sister had no confirmed canonical connections to other TGIF shows. But for the rest of them, Chicago to Port Washington to San Francisco to Philadelphia, 117 miles by rocket pack, 12 miles from Full House to Mr. Cooper's apartment, a chain letter connecting two. Boys who never met on screen. It was all one world. We just didn't know to call it that yet. Thanks for watching. If this took you back to your Friday nights in the 90s, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the shows that shaped our childhoods. I'll see you in the next one.